Assalamu alaikum and welcome back once again to Today in African History with Baba. I'm Baba Shaka and today is March 12th, 2021. We are 12 days into Women's History Month, where we honor the achievements and contributions of the women who have gone before and who are still achieving and contributing. Today we are, inshallah, going to take a look at a woman who may be unheard of to many, but who nevertheless was a driving force in the civil and human rights movements of the 1950s and 1960s. Ella Baker became one of the leading figures of the civil rights movements of the 1950s and 60s. Following her early work for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, or NAACP, she was among the founders of Dr. Martin Luther King's Southern Christian Leadership Conference in 1957. 3 years later, she helped launch the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, or SNCC. Born in Norfolk, Virginia on December 13, 1903, Miss Baker grew up in rural North Carolina. She was close to her grandmother, a former enslaved woman who told Miss Baker many stories about her life, including a whipping that she had received at the hands of her owner. A bright student, Miss Baker attended Shaw University in Raleigh, North Carolina, graduating class valedictorian in 1927. After moving to New York City in the late 1920s, Miss Baker joined the Young Negroes Cooperative League, or YNCL, which allowed its members to pool their funds to get better deals on goods and services. Before long, she was serving as its national director. Around 1940, Ms. Baker became a field secretary for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP, a role that required extensive travel as she raised funds and recruited new members to the organization. Ms. Baker became the NAACP's National Director of Branches in 1943, though she stepped down from the role 3 years later to take care of her niece, Jackie Brockington. Remaining in New York, Ms. Baker worked for a number of local organizations, including the New York Urban League. She became director of the New York chapter of the NAACP in 1952. In 1957, Ms. Baker helped launch the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SCLC, under the presidency of Dr. Martin Luther King. She ran its Atlanta, Georgia office and served as the organization's acting executive director. However, she also clashed with Dr. King and other male leaders of the SCLC who allegedly were not used to receiving pushback from such a strong-willed woman before exiting the organization in 1960. During her time with the SCLC, Ms. Baker organized the event that led to the creation of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, or SNCC, in 1960. She offered her support and counsel to this organization of student activists. After leaving the SCLC, Ms. Baker remained active in SNCC for many years. She helped them form the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party, or MFDP, in 1964 as an alternative to the state's Democratic Party, which held segregationist views. The MFDP even tried to get their delegates to serve as replacement for the Mississippi delegates at the National Democratic Convention in Atlantic City, New Jersey that same year. Now, while they were unsuccessful in this effort, the MFDP's actions brought significant attention to their cause. Ms. Baker continued to fight for social justice and equality into her later years, providing counsel for such organizations as the Third World Women's Coordinating Committee and the Puerto Rican Solidarity Committee. Ms. Baker died on her 83rd birthday on December 13, 1986 in New York City. Now, while not as well known as Dr. King or John Lewis or other famed leaders of the civil rights movements, Ms. Baker was a powerful behind-the-scenes force that ensured the success of some of the movement's most important organizations and events. Her life and accomplishments were chronicled in the 1981 documentary Fundy, The Story of Ella Baker. See, Fundy was a nickname, and it comes from a Swahili word that means a person who passes down a craft to the next generation. We should all strive to be fundies. Her name lives on through the Ella Baker Center for Human Rights, which aims to combat the problems of mass incarceration and strengthen communities for minorities and low-income people. Additionally, her name graces a K-8 public school in Manhattan's Upper East Side. Now, to fully understand the powerful, and I do mean powerful, legacy of this woman, one has to take a closer look at the organizations that she was actively involved with, especially the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, or SNCC. When we look at the great personalities who have emerged from that organization, the people who came under her influence and then went on to accomplish great things, then we can really appreciate who Ella Baker really was. People such as Dory Latner, Diane